If you're struggling with your vitality, energy, mood, focus, or sleep, this podcast is for you. Your host, Dr. Tsung, ER doctor and aerospace flight surgeon, will help you reach for the stars and remove the barriers or blockades that have been holding you back from living your best life. If you've been challenged by your health, relationships, or productivity, then it's time for a breakthrough. So here's your host, Dr. Tsung.
Hello, and welcome to It's Not Rocket Science show. And I'm your host, Dr. Tsung. This is session 3. The goal for the podcast today is that I wanted to talk about the book I recently read, Start With Why by Simon Sinek. We'll discuss the why, how, and what concept in the book, how that has applied to my life and impacted the decisions I made, and the 3 action steps you can take to apply to your life to figure out why you do the things that you do and does it align with your values. My goal for this podcast, my why, is to inspire you to create your whys that inspire you. So let's get started. I read this book recently, Start With Why by Simon Sinek, and it really, really resonated with me. He talks about you have to start with why, and then you branch out to the how, which is the process it takes to get there, and then the what, which is the result. And he talks about 3 concentric circles. In the inner circle is your why, the reasons you do what you do. Say, if I want to become a doctor, why do you want to become a doctor? Is it because of the money? Is it because of the fame? Because, a lot of times if that's the only reason, there are other things that you can do instead of going through residency and fellowship for many, many, many years and still end up with $200,000 student loan debt like me. I don't think if that was my goal, it would have been as fulfilled. And some people, there's other reasons why they want to, come up with the restaurant to share their recipes, to see the joy that they see when people taste their food. They want to come up with a website or a blog or vlog or podcast to share the knowledge and their ideas to create a community. Many people have different whys, and that's where you have to start. And then after you go out of the inner circle, there's another circle on the outside of that, which is the how. Once you know your why, then you go to your how, which is the process. If I want to become a physician, what do I have to do? Well, I have to study, get good grades in college, pass my MCAT, get into medical school, then finish your residency, do a fellowship if I want to, and then get a job. So that is the how, the process. And the result, what is the result of you going through this process? The result of me going through this process is that now I am credentialed, board certified in emergency medicine, in critical care, and in aerospace medicine. And now I work full-time as a physician at NASA. I'm a flight physician. But, I think if I tell you all my credentials, sure, my patients might say that, wow, she's done a lot of training, though they may not necessarily understand me and know what I believe in. I believe in that food is medicine. I believe that by changing your mindset, you can make micro adjustments, micro habit changes, and that will change your trajectory exponentially. You'll be a completely different person. I believe that whatever you need is already within you now. I believe that there are ways that you can deal with stress and have new coping strategies so that you're not doing any sort of emotional eating. And I believe that longevity and health and vitality are important concepts and to achieve, important goals to achieve in life if you want to have joy from within. And so if my patients understand my beliefs, they understand me as a person, then I think the recommendations I give them will have a bigger impact on them. And so rather than, okay, yeah, she graduated from that med school and completed that fellowship, and then now she's working as what? It's a little bit less impactful. And, think about what you believe in and think about your whys. And a lot of times when you think about your whys, you actually have to dig very deep. I've heard that you have to go down to 7 whys. And so you want to lose weight because you want to look better. Okay. Then why do you want to look better? Okay, maybe it's because you want to have more confidence. Okay, what's the reason why you want to have more confidence? It's because If I have confidence, then I'll be able to do the things I want to do. I'll feel empowered to reach my goals, to take action. Okay. So say you do have the power, the confidence, the energy to do what you want to do. So who cares? Why do you want to reach your goals? Well, maybe it's because I want to reach those goals, those career goals, financial goals, family, relationship goals, because I want to have a fulfilling life. I want to have financial freedom, financial independence, financial security. I want to feel stable and have the time in order to spend that with whoever I want, have the freedom to do what I want, whoever I want, spend time for however long I want. Maybe that is your why. That's the reason why you do everything that you are doing in life. It's to achieve that ultimate goal, that ultimate vision, that ultimate dream. And the same thing, it's not just in career. You can apply it to, say, the reason why you get into relationships with somebody else, the reason, you want to feel loved, you want to feel cherished, you want to feel like you're completely illuminated by this person and you want to grow together with somebody else. And then you inspect the reason why you're staying in the relationship that may not be serving you. If it doesn't align with your why, then perhaps it's something to think about. I'm not saying that you can't make decisions. Certain times you need to make decisions that don't fully align with your why because of circumstances, because of finances, though you have to have insight to know that maybe this is temporary. And I do have a different process to get there so that what I am doing aligns with my why. And the same can apply to, why are you creating this blog? Why are you creating this podcast? Why are you serving on a hospital committee? Do you fully believe in the process? Do you fully believe that you can change the quality of care for patients? Or is it because, you were told to do it because you're supposed to go on a hospital committee when you start working for a hospital to gain exposure? Or why do we, go through residency? Why do we wake up at 4 a.m.? Why do we take 36-hour, 48-hour calls? And put our bodies through this crazy sleep-wake cycle? Why do we subject our bodies to stress, our mind to stress? What's the true reason why we went behind medicine? And I'll tell you, for me, my whys have evolved throughout the years. Especially when I was very little, when I was 9, I had my first why of wanting to work for NASA. Learned about the planets, I learned about the astronauts, and I just thought it was the most awesome thing. It's new, it's exciting, it's daring, and I wanted to do whatever I could do in the future to contribute to it. And then, later on, I thought about, high school when I had to make a decision, well, what career am I going to go through with? And I thought, after speaking with my high school teacher, my mom, becoming a physician, it's something that I can do every day and be able to help somebody, to contribute to somebody. And so I thought, and of course, financial stability. It's long process, though I think the ultimate goal and the ultimate why to help somebody, to contribute to a human being, really aligned with me, even though I was just 16 years old. And then evolved even more and more and more throughout the process. The reason why I want to do a fellowship is because I need to learn everything I can to help the patients, because every new knowledge, new information I can absorb may help my patients in the future. So that's why I went through the critical care, and then I went through the aerospace, continuing on my why from when I was a child. And now it has evolved to my beliefs, and my why currently is I do what I do because I want to optimize human beings in all aspects of life so that they can live a life with authenticity, with joy. And when I mean authenticity, like, what is living life with authenticity? I talked a little bit about this in session 1 of 2 on imposter syndrome and self-worth. And this definition in the book really resonated with me, what authenticity is. Living a life with authenticity is that what you say and what you do is something that you firmly believe in. And I'll repeat that again. What you say and what you do is something you believe in. So what that means is that, so I was thinking about opening a store, like a Taiwanese bubble tea store, versus something like Main Squeeze, which is a organic juicery store. And if my whole goal is to optimize human beings to make sure that they live a long, healthy life, if food is medicine, and if I believe in longevity and eating what energizes you, then I mean, I'm going to be opening up a main squeeze, opening up a Taiwanese bubble tea store with all the tapioca, the sugar, the additives, the syrup. It doesn't align with my why. So it's very, very easy for me to pick and choose. And so I also want to optimize human beings because I want them to be able to go wonder, to discover, to explore the world beyond Moon, Mars, the galaxies, because I have the drive to be part of something bigger. I want to be part of a bigger mission, a huge community. And that's always been me. And that is my why. And so I want to ask you, what is your why? There are 3 steps that you can take to kind of discover and ask you questions, kind of examine your whys and what you do. Number 1, I want you to review your relationships, the actions you've taken, any career path that you've taken, any forward plans, and also review maybe anything that you're doing that you may or may not fully believe in. Or maybe you believe it, but you've lost your passion, you lost your drive. So what that means is that, say, you're working currently in an ER, there's a hospital administration, hospital group who currently only cares about how many patients you see and how much money they make. It has less to do with quality of care or the changes that they make. It doesn't really improve quality of care. It's solely for metrics. And so review the reason why you became a physician in the first place and say it is to help human beings, to provide value, to give them presence, to show compassion and empathy, and to always listen to them where they need me, even though if I just have 5 or 10 minutes. Then perhaps it might be worthwhile to look for other groups, other physician groups in your area or other states, other cities, and see whether you can find somebody who really aligns with your values. Or if you have to stay there, that's okay. You figure out where I'm at right now doesn't align with my why. That's okay. I have a plan. I'm going to look further. I'm going to see what I can do in my job daily on my shift to provide my why to my patients, to give them my presence so that they feel heard. And so after you figure out your whys, the things that you do, then number 2, I want you to perform what's called a celery test in the book. But essentially what the book is saying is that if you're at the grocery store and you are trying to figure out, say, the next best thing or what to buy and promote to others, you ask for multiple recommendations from your friends. And some people will tell you, well, celery juice is an in thing, so you will get celery juice. Or some people would say, get oat milk or rice milk. And the others would take, M&Ms or Pop-Tarts or whatever, Kit Kats, because, those things are back. You want to reminisce your childhood. And so if you use your celery test, you figure out your why. So my why is that I want to make sure that I share the most nutritious food, the habits that will energize people. And if I look in my basket, then the M&Ms don't pass the test, the Pop-Tarts don't pass the test. Most likely what I'll buy is the celery. And so when people look at your cart, your shopping cart, and what you believe in, your values, they'll know exactly what your beliefs are. Look at your results, your process. They know what you stand for, essentially. So what that means is that everything you do, the process that you take, test it. Do the celery test against your why. If it doesn't serve you, if it doesn't serve your why, then make a decision. Another example of the celery test is that, currently my fiance and I are undergoing planning for our wedding. And we were kind of going back and forth in terms of where we're going to do the ceremony, either on top of a glacier by helicopter, or perhaps we want to do it at a park so that family and friends can join us. So again, going back and forth, thinking about family and friends, thinking about what our preferences were. And then we created our why. The reason why we want to have this wedding is to create the most magical wedding experience so that we can remember for the rest of our lives. And so we did a celery test. Wedding in the park, the ceremony in the park versus the ceremony on the glacier. Which one passed the test? And when I thought about my why, it was so clear that, of course, I'm going to do the ceremony on top of the glacier. That is what I'm going to remember for the rest of our lives. So it was very, very easy decision making. And number 3, so you figure out your why. You did the celery test and you found out that there are certain things or actions that you're doing that may or may not align with your why. Like, if you're coaching a team, or you're doing a project that doesn't align with what you believe in, or you are perhaps creating a brand, though doing some actions that may not align with the why of your brand, then that's time to examine it carefully to see if there's anything that you can change or do that will align with the why, letting the people in your company know your why, and also accepting sometimes that sometimes the circumstances, that's what you have to do at the moment, but create a timeline so that you know what you need to do and when you need to get there to the point where it fully aligns with your values. And so, like I said before, firmly believe in that if you know your why, then it'll give you the emotional push, the emotional threshold, the drive to change your habits. I firmly believe that if you know your why, you'll stick to your habits. You'll stick to the nutrition goals that you have. You'll stick to your medications that you need to take. You'll stick to your goals for 10 to 15 to 20 years. Knowing your purpose, your values, and your why is one of the most important things that can help you achieve what you need to do in life, and to rally others behind you because they believe in you. I talked about the imposter syndrome in session 1 and how it relates to your self-worth. And so after you know to validate your self-worth intrinsically, just by being who you are, next you can create goals that you want to achieve just because you have a strong why, and that'll take you places, and that'll help you achieve the most fulfilling life with authenticity and joy. And so just to summarize, number 1, review your relationships, your current actions, any plans, your career, your health, whatever it is, anything that you may not believe in as much or you have lost your drive and passion. Number 2, form the Celery Test. And number 3, if there are certain things that don't pass your Celery Test, change it so that they do, change your trajectory, or create a timeline and create a process to how so that you can get there in the future. And so if you believe in what I believe in, I invite you to share your journey and your whys with me. I'm very grateful that you shared your time as well on this podcast with me. For more information, for links to the book, show notes, the actions, please go to itsnotrocketscienceshow.com. And remember, I firmly believe in that everything you need is already within you now.
That's it for today's episode. Head on over to iTunes and subscribe to the show. One lucky listener every single week that posts a review in iTunes will win a chance in the grand prize drawing to win a private VIP day for a health and life makeover with Dr. Tsung herself. Then be sure to head on over to itsnotrocketscienceshow.com and pick up your free gift from Dr. Tsung. Then join us on the next episode.